In medical training, I was really struck by the profound impact that a brain or a spine trauma has on a patient. It can really profoundly impact who they are, and it was really an area where I felt I wanted to contribute. I think some of the things that we treat are some of the worst things that can happen to a person, and I think it's very meaningful medicine and something I really wanted to devote my life to. A very large proportion of the patients that I treat are complex spine patients. I would say that there's no spine case too big or too small. I take that a little bit further, and I think I have some unique expertise in trauma patients who are facing life-threatening problems that need really rapid diagnosis and treatment. In the clinic, there's two different kinds of patients. There are certainly patients that have been in the hospital, and really those patients we're looking to make sure that their healing is going according to plan, that they're not developing new problems. And for people that are seeing me on an elective basis, a lot of these patients are having problems with their function. They're having pain, they're having weakness. There's usually a suspicion that the spine may be the cause. It isn't always, and we try and figure out fundamentally if it is the spine or if it isn't. And when we think it is the spine, we need to talk about whether there's a role for surgery. Surgery is always a last resort. We want to exhaust all of the medical managements, everything we can prior to surgery. I have to say that something I've enjoyed more and more as I've matured in my career is seeing patients in the office after I've helped them at surgery. I think seeing them getting better over time is something that I take a huge amount of gratitude in. I've always taken a lot of pride in the number of patients that ask me to see a family member or a good friend. I've always thought in my own mind that I really hope I'm taking the same care of all of my patients that I would of someone who's a dear loved one. I care very deeply about the patients that I treat.